You are here today for the Roadmap to Success workshop. Networking does not have to be scary. Woo! So while everybody's logging on, we're going to get the networking party started because I assure you today is a party. It's going to be fun. And we're going to ask a critically important question because we want everybody to be engaged in this conversation. We'll have a Q&A at the end, but you can also chat in your questions along the way. So make sure everybody's comfortable with the chat box. Find that chat box. And you need to answer this question: pancakes or waffles? This is really important. This is a debate I had last night with my 14-year-old son. What is better, pancakes or waffles? Oh.
Dude, popping off.
I see Carolyn as a pancakes. Dave Beeson as a pancake.
All right. Pancakes, yes. Vicky Hatmalo.
Okay.
Dude, okay, look, yeah, Amber, I'm going to chime in on this. I have a question for you because here's why. Where are the waffles or pancakes from?
This is important too, right?
That's the determining factor. Because if I'm at IHOP, right, their pancakes are bomb. If I'm at Waffle House, I'm going with the waffles.
Pan clocks. Thanks, Rick. True. Yeah. And if you have a recommendation in there, let us know. We love the engagement. A few other updates for you all. We have some great upcoming events starting next week on Monday, May 16th. We are hosting at the Chamber of Commerce our Swing for Success golf tournament at Reflection Bay. We do have some limited golfer spots and tee boxes available. If you are interested, chat in along the way. If you want to Lindsay Bankston, she'll be happy to connect back with you after. Also on May 18th of next week, we will be hosting an association health plan webinar on Zoom at 9 a.m. I know a lot of our 2 to 50 employee or small businesses take advantage of our association health plan to renew or either enroll for health insurance. So there's more information on hendersonchamber.com/events. And then also next Friday, because it wouldn't be a chamber week with 5 events every single day available to you all to participate in, we have our Pancakes and Politics event featuring Congresswoman Dina Titus at Dragon Ridge next Friday at 8:30 a.m. We always love when our members attend and ask questions important to your business. You can find all that information on hendersonchamber.com on our events page. So with that being said, it looks like, I don't know if it's half and half. It looks like half pancakes, half waffles. It looks like the controversy continues. I'd like to thank our Roadmap to Success workshop sponsors, the Las Vegas Review-Journal and Bank of Nevada, for supporting our programming. And feel free to, refer your greatest waffle or pancake location to us in the chat box along the way. We are thrilled that you made the choice to join us this morning, and we anticipate everybody here will be leaving today's webinar learning something new and re-energized to get out there and network. And admittedly, I was sharing just before everybody came in, I am a natural introvert. And when I hear the word networking, I sort of seize up a little bit inside myself. But knowing that networking is the most effective way to get new clients, generate word of mouth advertising and building relationships, it's imperative that we all have the ability to do it well and know a few tips and tricks to help us along the way. And we at the Henderson Chamber, we want to see all of our member businesses succeed. So I'm glad you are all here today. We're going to have so much fun. I had a little preview earlier. We're going to have so much fun. So let me get on with it and allow me to introduce you to your presenter today, Ricky Navarre, co-founder and president for Peak Performance Partners. Ricky has a rich history of more than 20 years working in sales and assisting fellow entrepreneurs and businesses to prosperity. He has long been recognized many times over for his work in training sales representatives and other business leaders so they can reach their full potential, including now, as I mentioned, as a co-founder and president of Peak Performance Partners. You will be hard-pressed, truly, to find another person that has a passion to help others flourish through long-term relationships, allowing you to increase your sales than Ricky. So welcome, Ricky. Thank you so much for today. I'll hand it off to you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that introduction. Good morning, everybody. If you all can hear me, give us a thumbs up kind of thing. I'm looking through. I see it. I see some of my friends. I see some of my family. I got Frankie. What's up, Peter? I got Art. Oh my goodness. Oh yes. Team Sherlock in the house. Dave Austin. I can go through everybody. It's so great to see you guys. I am super excited. Oh, I see Rick Casmus. Y'all don't know Rick. Got to meet him. This morning, as you can tell already out the gate, this is going to be a different kind of conversation than just show up and get talked at. So if you thought you were going to just jump in, listen in the background and kind of do some of your work, not this morning. We're going to have a great time. So again, thank you so much for coming in. You know, when I was asked about this networking thing, and hey, can you share about networking? It's something that's a passion of mine, because so many people are always asking, how do I talk to somebody? How do I meet the right people? How do I make the time when I show up to an event, if I'm able to make it successful and worthwhile? And you know, some of you out here, and I've got to know some of you, it comes easy, right? It comes naturally. And some of you know who I'm talking about, right? It's just, oh, you show up into a room and you can walk away with some great conversations, some great relationships. And there's others that are kind of like, if you may have seen the video, you hear the word networking, or if you're in a new business development position or you own the company and you have to go to the event or an event, your hands just thinking about it, you get hot and sweaty. And you're just like, can I just, you know, and your tummy gets tight. And there are some times, and I will be very honest, it even happens to me when I'm out in the parking lot, I pull into the event and I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go, right? I'm gonna go and, you know, who am I gonna talk to and what are we gonna talk about? But doing this for long enough, when you come to, as we go through this, I hope that you all really get some nuggets and realize at the end of the day that networking doesn't have to be scary. It can be exciting, it can be fun. And if you do it for the right reasons and the right way, and I'll kind of get into it, I think it could be magic for every single person, regardless if you're an extrovert and outgoing and crazy excited, or that introvert, somebody who's kind of like, let me just show up. Maybe I talk to a couple people, see where it goes. It's a win-win for everybody. And again, if we kind of do it the way we're going to be going through this, it'll be a lot of fun. So to kick this off, let me go ahead and get you all started today by introducing Peak Performance Partners, so you really know a little bit more about what we do. Here we go, check this out. All right, make sure you have your audio on, everybody.
Now I get to introduce you to Peak Performance Partners. We're a company that has executives with over 200 years of combined experience, working for publicly traded companies such as Verizon, AT&T, and Wyndham Resorts, helping them drive millions in annual sales and creating efficiencies, which you know creates greater profits. We've also worked for privately owned companies, helping startup divisions within these companies achieve over $100 million in annual revenues. We've also, each of us, have owned our own companies. Not only do we know what it's like to sign the back of a check, we also know what it's like to sign the front of a check. And that is why we teamed up with the Alternative Board Worldwide, or as we like to call it, TAB. TAB is an organization that is in over 23 countries. It's been around for 30 years, helping business owners and business leaders achieve their ultimate dream. What we do is we put together peer advisory boards made up of business executives from non-competing industries, where we meet once a month and we talk about challenges and opportunities. And then we help each other by going from our background and giving collective wisdom. Can you imagine having 250 to 300 years of experience helping you as you're making decisions? Some of the topics that often come up in some of the boards are this: employee development, new markets, growth strategies, cash flow issues, and legal matters. Guess what? All organizations have these. In addition to the board meetings where we meet once a month, we also do coaching. This is where we come one-on-one with you and your organization. We talk about a great plan for yourself. What is your mission? What's your vision? What's the culture? And what's your brand promise? In addition to the Alternative Board, we also have a consulting division. This is where we come in and do a deeper dive with you and your organization. What we do is we're going to create a gap analysis. We're going to see where's the place that we can spend the least amount of time to make the greatest impact. We're going to look at marketing. We're going to look at your sales process. We like to follow the client through the journey of how did they get to know about you, and then how did they become a client, And then how was their journey? Are there any gaps in that process that we can make better to make them happier, generating higher revenue and greater profits? A lot of times this will include leadership development. We have a great plan where we come in and help your team become more accountable and make sure that they're following up, making sure that the meetings that they're attending are meaningful. Then we'll start to review the financials. Helping business owners identify blind spots within themselves and their organization, that is what we enjoy. I'd also like to invite you to tune into our Are You Killing It podcast. This is where we talk to local business owners and find out what are some secrets to how they're killing it. Our goal is to provide an environment for business leaders and owners to connect with new people, reconnect with old friends, and get information from industry experts. We also have a video production team. Does your company have its own video? Something that explains your product or service in such a high professional manner that everybody's going to want to do business with you? Have you ever thought about employee onboarding and doing training videos? What's so important about a training video is, guess what? You get to control the environment and the message that all your new employees are saying. We love being a part of this business community. Industry leading. Have you ever thought about that term? One of the things we do is we help companies identify what are industry leading companies and how did they become that. What I want to encourage you to do is this: don't go alone. Use our 200 years of collective experience to help you and your organization. There's an African proverb that we often refer to. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Please, this business community is made up of companies that are killing it because they're going together. I want you to be one of those. Come join us.
All right. Well, now I hope you all have a little bit better understanding of who Peak Performance Partners is. We're back to the presentation. Can you all see that, Amber? Are we back on the PowerPoint? All right. So as we move on, I love videos. I love watching, I love learning, I love different things. Some people love reading books. I am like that YouTube junkie. And when I started thinking about networking, I found and stumbled upon a couple of videos that I wanted to share with y'all. And the first one, if anybody in here has ever seen The Greatest Showman, you all are in for a treat. So with that said, I'm going to share this with you guys. Check this out.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You walk into the room, then stop 2 feet from the door. You want to make a friend, but you fear that you'll be ignored, starting to sweat. You're feeling alone. Pretend to read a text on your cell phone. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at ya. Networking event, and there's a keynote after. There's little groups, everyone is busy talking. You walk up to one, but then you just continue walking. Whoa. You panic, it's go time, it's time to mingle. Whoa. It's like Valentine's Day, but you're feeling really single. Whoa. There's someone standing by themselves, now it's time for action, time for the show. But you don't really wanna go where the schmoozers with the schmoo and schmooze, while they're sipping complimentary booze. Stand like an emu, no one will talk to you. Woo, networking event tonight. They're extroverts, they're here to win. We're the rock stars of LinkedIn. Watching them parlez-vous, what are you gonna do? Ooh, networking event tonight. Networking event. You catch someone's eye and you bite back your fight or flight. Networking event. Hope they don't suspect you're a networking troglodyte. Don't blow it, they're standing right there smiling at ya. You fake it, they'll know it, and they're gonna catch ya. You take a deep breath and you suck back your fear. You remember your icebreaker and say, hey, what brings you here?
Well, I'm a successful and talented business person looking to make valuable connections.
Me too.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help but overhearing. Are you talented and successful business people looking to make valuable connections?
We are.
Want to exchange business cards?
We do.
Networking event tonight. The networking event is here. The hour that I used to fear. But now it's once more into the breach. With my elevator speech. The networking event is here. It's something that you have to fear. Suck it up and you're gonna see. This is where you wanna be. This is where I wanna be. Where the schmooze. Where the introverts are paying their dues. Impossible comes through. Someone will notice you. Ooh, networking event tonight. You light it up. You work the crowd. You make Dale Carnegie proud. Look what you do, you networking person, you. Ooh, networking event tonight. Networking event tonight. Networking event tonight.
All right, who's ready to go to a networking event? Now, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I have something we're just going to keep this rolling. Here's some of the do's and don'ts at a business networking event.
Oh, we've got a retweet.
And sometimes I just feel like I'm struggling to keep my staff motivated.
Yeah, we said that's very unprofessional of you. I wouldn't be surprised if your business failed very soon. You need us, you fool.
Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, apologize.
What I'm really interested in doing is investing in some offshore tax havens. Places like Panama, excuse me, sorry. We will get some real production sort of incentives. Sorry.
And that's one of the biggest challenges for...
Hello, everyone.
One of the biggest challenges for talent retention in a mid-scale business.
That's really funny. Do you want to dance?
Hello, I've been told you're a business analyst.
I'll do off, you mother.
Thanks.
That's great. I'll be in touch. Do you have a card?
Yep.
Crawley Taxis. Dry cleaning on Tuesday. Spanking fun 24/7.
Hello, I'm Philip.
Jane.
How's business?
Fine. I have been badly constipated though over the last week, like really, really bunged up. I've actually forgotten what it's like to go.
I mean, the public relations game has changed over the last few years. It's no longer about chucking out digital content, it's about telling a story that people engage with.
Awesome, man. Look, Mark Davis, Mediocre Video Solutions.
Tony Jensen, Reach PR.
Good, look. What should, in great detail, my entire annual digital marketing strategy be? Go.
Do you know this guy?
Bruce Jenkins, Global Pencil Supplies. Loved your presentation.
Yeah, here, take my card. Really like the bit about a well stocked stationery cupboard. Yeah, we should talk.
All right, are we learning anything yet? I'm seeing some people, I'm seeing some smiles. You're gonna tell some of y'all like, oh, I did not see some of this stuff coming. Now, this video, the one that we're gonna end with before I kind of get into some of the stuff that I wanna share, when I found this one, it speaks so much from my heart, and he says it so well. So I'm gonna just let him really cover some of these things because it's just, it is what it really comes to and how people mess up when it comes to networking. And if you're always wondering, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? What should I be doing so I can really, get the most out of it? Well, here's some things that you shouldn't do, and he'll share some things you should do.
I'm going to do you a big favor this morning. Having had to reach out and develop lots of relationships in my life and in my business endeavors, and being a target for many other people's reach out, I've got a pretty good perspective on what works and how people really screw up in the networking and business relationship development process. So this morning, I will share how I see people screwing up the most so you don't do this anymore. Number one, you don't show up. Oh, sure, your body's at the event or chit-chatting with the person in front of you, but it's just a husk of a thing. Your spirit is void. Your energy is what introduces you. Just because you're quote unquote doing business, it doesn't mean that you can't or shouldn't be energetic, joyful, and personable. In fact, making a great first impression requires it. It doesn't matter how talented you are or how well connected or wealthy you are. Nobody likes a bore or a bummer dog. Positive energy is what attracts positive energy. Number two, you beat your chest to death. If you want the doors of opportunity to open or stay open, it's important that you always remain humble, grounded, and willing to learn and listen. Humility is admitting that you don't know something, that you need help, and that you are actually willing to listen. But first, be interested before you try to be interesting. And number three, you get all grabby. You think the game is grabbing business cards. None of that will matter when you call, if you ever do follow up, which most people don't, when they say, who? You are a mile wide and an inch deep with your relationships, or better described as far distant acquaintances. Instead, you want to focus on cultivating the intense few instead of the lukewarm many in your relationships. Having a drawer full of business cards of names of people who you don't know, care about, or even remember you is of no value at all. The only objective to networking is to make meaningful and memorable connections. One where there is a person who is delighted to hear from you on the other end and eager to continue the relationship with you. Number four, you make BS promises. Nobody trusts a person who says they can do something that never happens. Tried and true business relationships manifest solely through action. If you agree to do something, then dagnabbit, do it. That is the best way to have trust be born in the relationship. Unfortunately, most people try to build relationships on the basis of promises. They measure their value through the things they say they can do as opposed to the things they actually and consistently deliver. Don't be the guy or gal full of hooey. And number five, you play the short game. Business and relationships take time. Some of the best opportunities take months or even years to nurture. Some of the best connections require giving a lot for a long time in order to create a mutually beneficial relationship. To build sound relationships, you can't expect bonds to be formed overnight or favors to be exchanged early in the getting to know and the trust building phase. Number six, you're a taker. You should always give more than you take. Deposit more than you withdraw. Keep your relationship accounts in the black and stacked. Remember this, it's only when you contribute more than you consume that you have a justifiable reason to even exist in someone's life. Every time you tap each relationship account, you should be depositing back twice as much. And if you're asked for a favor, that is your golden opportunity. Don't screw it up. Deliver fast, deliver above expectations, and you will enter into a whole other category in someone's head and heart when you do. Be on their short list of doers. And number seven, you are a fair weather networker. You can't go dark or radio silent on someone for months and then reach out only to ask them for a favor. That is super lame, man. Don't do that. Relationships take time and investment, not once or a few times, but constantly and continually. You have to take time to check in, catch up, and show an interest in their lives, their goals, and what's going on with their aspirations. This is why I suggest that you focus on the intense few versus the lukewarm many. If I were to really cut to the chase here, no one cares about you or your business or your goals or your personal interests. They only care about their own. And until you are a value to them, their agenda, they won't even consider you or give you any time, energy, or attention. It all starts with you. You giving value first, often and more than they could ever reciprocate. Put another way, it doesn't matter how valuable you think you are until you are a value to others. So go out there today and be a value.
So I love it. I hope so far y'all starting to get some really good nuggets, and I'm gonna kind of bring my energy down just a little bit and really speak from my heart here. What networking really is, right? For everybody who's on here, whoever's gonna watch this video as we send this out, networking, you all, at its core is relationship building, right? And how do you build genuine relationships? Well, the way we like to look at it, I like to go off of that know, like, trust foundation, right? Get to know somebody, you know, like when you then like them and then you can trust them. You know, really getting to know somebody as you meet somebody, find out what they do, but not just what they do, right? We all have things we do. Really find out why they're doing what they do for a living, all right? As you meet people, as you really get to know them, try to go deeper than just that surface level, you know, questions, and just think about it in your mind as you're meeting people, as you show up to events. How do I get to know whoever it is that I'm talking to, all right? As you really start to genuinely get to know somebody, who they are, why they do what they do, why they're in the industry they're in, because everybody has so much talent and ability. We can do so many different things, right? We can work for so many different companies or own different companies. So the why is really, really important to find out. You know, next comes like. Try to find something that genuinely you find that commonality, something you like about that person. Even if you're talking to somebody and you show up at an event and you have that awkwardness, right? And you know what I'm talking about. You know, you're trying to talk to them and you kind of say, hey, okay, so hey, how are you doing? Or what do you do? And the industries could be completely different, have nothing to do with each other, and they'll never do business with one another. But you can still respect and appreciate that person for who they are. And you can find some kind of commonality with that person. And as you find the commonality, it could be, what are your interests? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun? Getting to that level and when you pass through like gets to trust. When you get to that place where you have a solid bond, getting to know somebody, then you can really trust somebody. Now, you heard, you know, on the video, sometimes trust takes time. Be willing to put that time in. If you're willing to put the time in, it will reap rewards both professionally and personally and financially. All right, it really comes together on that sense. If you're wondering if you're doing this right, here's the measuring stick, right? For yourself and for others. And what I mean by that is, would you feel comfortable referring whoever you're talking to, whoever you're getting to know, to a client or family member, right? At the same time, are you the person that somebody feels comfortable enough to refer, right? As you're talking to somebody, getting to know them, you know, it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years, right? When you build those right relationships, you know, you get to the point where, hey, do you know somebody, or can you introduce me to so-and-so, right? You want to be that person they feel comfortable and say, hey, this person, absolutely, I want to make that introduction, I want to make that referral. It'd be a great fit for my client or the person I know, my other friend, or my family member. And let me ask you this, and this is the question you all should be asking yourself on a consistent basis, right? Would you ever do business with someone that you don't trust? Now, I know there are products and services out there that you're going to buy and that you're going to use, that you don't need that long-term deep relationship in order to buy it, okay? We're talking about things that will require a deeper relationship, and in order to help kind of build that community we're talking about. Now, question for everybody out here is this: why are you so scared? For anybody who's scared of networking, for anybody who's scared of going to an event, to anybody who's scared of going out and meeting people, know this: people are just like you. They're people. We have fears, we have dreams, we have aspirations. And if you treat people the way you like to be treated, guess what? All right, with commonality, with courtesy, with respect, it goes a long, long way. And you can really start to bridge any gaps, and really you start to meet people that down the road, you never know where they're going to be in their life and how that could dovetail back into your world down the road. Give before you get. It sounds simple because it is. You heard in the video at the very, towards that last video, at the end of it, it's giving more than you get, right? Be of value and people will find you valuable. If you're just that taker, if you just me, my, hey, can I get your card? 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 And you never call, you never show up, you never follow up, you never follow through, then you're just a taker. You just want whatever you can get. Here's what happens with that, all right? You're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. And what I mean by that is you can make quick money. You might be able to meet somebody in an event, you know, do a quick presentation, show something, you know, bring some immediate value real quick because they have a product or service they might need. But you also, if you don't have a long-term relationship, then they're not going to use you long-term, right? You want to be able to give more. How can I help you? What do you need? And imagine this, you guys. Imagine for one moment if we all treated each other this way. I know it sounds kind of idealistic, but one of the things I love about, you know, the chambers is that there's that network and that community that is brought together, right? When you show up to an event, they put on these events so you can get together and meet and mingle and meet people that you never have met or reconnect with people you have met, right? But it's really that simple. If everybody started treating each other this way, giving more than we take, imagine the environment we would create, right? So here's a question, all right? I get this quite often. So Ricky, what if I'm not the outgoing type? How can I make networking work for me? Well, guess what? You don't need to show up and meet everybody in the room. One of the biggest mistakes I see is a lot of people show up and they're like, here's my goal. And they have a stack of cards this thick and they want to just try to touch, you know, basically everybody, almost like they're using the networking event as a marketing tool, which on some level it is. But they just want to get a card in somebody's hand as fast as possible because their card has their logo and their name and their information, and they go out. That's not really how it should be, all right? Show up with that positive attitude and mindset, all right? And that you want to meet a few great people. If you happen to meet more, wonderful, added bonus. But you don't know who you're going to meet, and sometimes just showing up and meeting somebody new, again, make a friend, because friends, no friends, no friends. People have relationships far and wide. And if you become part of their circle, that means that eventually you can also have access to that person's network if you're somebody they trust, okay? The power of the relationship game, looking at point number 2, is that while you're building relationships with someone, even if they can't buy your product or service, right, they probably know somebody that can. You know, but if you're somebody who is disingenuous, if you're self-serving, if you're just selfish and you're just really about what you want and what you're trying to get, or what you're trying to sell, or what you're trying to do, y'all, I guarantee you, I'm not going to introduce you to my network. I'm not going to share your product or service with a friend or family, right? I'm going to find somebody who genuinely cares and is going to bring value for me and the people that I care about. You know, you want to get in a place really where your business relationships where you can ask for that referral and they're gladly to make that introduction, right? And like I said before, and I keep saying again, you don't know who they know. And one of the things that has bothered me more than anything in this world is sometimes the attitude that people take, especially when they feel that, oh, well, that person, I can't do business with that person, so I really don't even want to spend that time or invest that time or energy with that person. Stop it. Y'all stop, please, from the bottom of my heart. Find out more about people. Spend the time getting to know them, right? Because you could inadvertently burn a bridge by blowing somebody off. And down the road, it could be 1 month, it could be years, right? They might move into a position with a company or organization that you are absolutely dying to get in front of. And now you come back and full circle, guess what? It comes back and bites you in the butt because that person doesn't want to give you the time of day because you didn't give that person the time of day. Does that make sense? Right? that is something that if we just say, hey, look, I don't care who you are, you're here, I'm here, let's get to know each other. And what do you do and why do you do it, right? That's the idea. So you, again, if you're not that outgoing, extroverted person, don't worry, still show up, because people, they're at a networking event because they want to meet other people. You have nothing to fear and nothing to lose, because what's the worst that's going to happen, right? You show up and you get to make a friend, regardless of whatever the outcome is. And 9 times out of 10, those who are there, right, are there to do business. They're there to meet others so they can do business together, right? It's when you all have the same agenda of doing it right, with the right relationship, right attitude, right, frame of mind, that guess what? It's a win-win either way, Now for the other side, right? Hey, look, Ricky, I've got this one. I'm excited to meet as many people as possible. I'm outgoing, friendly. I can't wait to show up. How do I make networking event work for me? Okay. Well, this goes back to a little bit of what I was just talking about. Okay. Get to know the people you're talking with. And some of y'all have probably seen this before, that, people show up and they jump from person to person to person to person to person to person to person, because they're trying to meet everybody in the room. Okay. They don't take the time. And how, honestly, let's be real for a second, right? Anybody in the room, go ahead in this here, raise your hand if you've ever felt like you've been snubbed by somebody, where you're trying to talk in your mid-sentence and they just cut out on you, right? Or you didn't feel like they were genuinely listening to what you were trying to share. And you're like, man, this is my moment. I get to share something that I'm passionate about. And they checked out and they left. Anybody? Go ahead. Right? I can see some head nods. Yeah. Don't be that person to somebody else, because guess what? They're going to come and, you don't want to be that one that they talk about like that. Like, oh, do you know so-and-so? Yeah, I don't really like that person, right? You want to be the person on the other end. Oh, you know so-and-so? Yeah, you know Blossom? Dude, I love Blossom. Blossom is fantastic. Oh, have you met Frank? Frank is phenomenal. Oh, you know Dave with the muffler shop? Dave, that guy, he's so genuine and his heart is so great. That is the kind of conversations you want people to have about you, okay? Now, pardon me one second. I'm going to just plug my laptop in, but keeping it going is you never know exactly who you were looking to get connected with. Sometimes people go into a networking event and they're like, man, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to meet this person. I want to meet the president of the Raiders. I want to meet the president of the bank. I want to meet so. Y'all, hey, that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. We want to be intentional with our time. I absolutely get that. Okay. But I want to say that don't just go in looking for that relationship. Don't just go in just for that person or that purpose. Because again, you might turn around and inadvertently snub somebody. Okay. If you look at the end of point number 2, leave whoever you connect with a positive impression. Right? Because in this town, if you do not know this, it is a relationship game, you all, right? And if you know what I'm talking about, give me a little head nod, right? As big as Vegas is, all right, the business community, the decision makers, the influencers, those who really move for other companies, that community is tiny, itty bitty, it's microscopic. And if you all really kind of get into those relationships, genuine relationships, you can be 1 or 2 phone calls away from meeting anybody in this city you want. And you want to be the person that you can make that phone call and say, hey, all right, Blossom, do you know somebody over in this industry? Or do you know the person at this company? And I guarantee you all, Blossom is absolutely going to move mountains, right? Lauren, the entire team, I understand, Lisa, call Scott. Scott's like, pick up the phone. Hey, Scott, right? I need something. If you're somebody, again, that has that positive impression that they know, they'll be happy to do it, right? Here's the cool little thing. If you look at number 3, if you start to build these genuine relationships, make these friends, get to know people, it makes every event you go to more fun. The next one gets easier and easier because you walk in and you might be like, hey, Norma, I saw you at the last event. How are you doing? What's going on with you? Oh man, well, here's what's going on. Things that, how's things changed? Well, and you now already have a friend. You got a familiar face. And how awesome is it when you walk into an event and you have a familiar face? Anybody know what I'm talking about? And you smile, you connect, and you want to go talk to that person. It just makes it easier. Now, I don't have it on the slide, but I gotta tell you something. Please, please, please don't just make a friend at one event and then stick to that person every time from that point on because that person's comfortable, right? It's familiar, especially for my people who are scared, my introverts. Go out, reconnect with them, say hey, and then go make another friend, right? That's how this works. Now, the trick to networking, if you did not know this, you probably heard it, show up, y'all. 80% of this battle is just showing up. That's it. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to have anything. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is be in the room. And the more times you're in the room, the more events you go to, the more opportunities you get, because now people see you on a consistent basis and now you're top of mind, even if they haven't met you. Here's the thing. You might not meet every single person you want to meet that time, but consistency is key. And when you show up, they'll see your face. And you show up at another event, they're like, oh, that person's here too. Okay. And again, and eventually you walk up to somebody and just say, man, excuse me, I've seen you at like the same events 4 or 5 times. And I really wanted to meet you. Hi. Right. It just, oh yeah, I saw you too. It makes those conversations so easy. And all you did was show up. All right. If you're not there, how can you build those relationships? The other one to networking, and I'm gonna give my boy Frankie Tavares some love on this one because we actually said this yesterday and I was like, I gotta put this in the slide. Follow up and follow through, y'all. Some people, they play that card game, card, and they go back and then they're scared to even call that person. They're scared to follow up and get to know them. Take that time to build a relationship, get coffee, get a Zoom going on, just make a phone call. But be the person that continues beyond. When somebody says, hey, I want to get to know you, let's connect after this. Do that. And that is going to take you so far. Now, some people are definitely afraid of networking and others can't wait to show up. No matter who you are, right? People are there to meet people. So why wouldn't they want to meet you? For my people in here in this room today who are, again, just introverts and deathly afraid and scared anytime they show up to an event, just remember, every single person is valuable, right? You are hired by your company or you own a company. You're in the roles you are because you are someone of talent and worth, right? And so when you show up, make sure, just know in your heart of hearts that you have something amazing to share with people. And I will tell you this, I teach sales as part of our courses and part of our development. And you're selling yourself. Everything is sales. But a lot of people, and y'all can give me a head nod if you feel this way. Anybody in here feel like, but I'm not a salesperson and I don't want to be seen as a salesperson because sales is cheesy and I don't want to be that cheap, cheesy, person, right? I don't want to be seen as that shallow person, right? Here's the thing. If you come off as a cheap, shallow person, then that's probably how you'll be viewed. But if you know whatever product or service you have, right? Whatever you're bringing, if they don't know about it, how can they benefit from it? Right? You all have opportunities to share your heart, your passion, your business, and something that could help that person you're talking to or somebody they know. And it's not a bad thing to share that. Does that make sense? You want to be able to just say, hey, look, I have something that I love, that I'm motivated by. Because if not, why in the heck are you even doing it in the first place? Right? Find something that moves you. And that's why the why is so important. And people like to do business with people like them. People like them. And if your why motivates them and moves them, that's people, they want to do business like that, right? So remember, why not you? Because you have something valuable. And again, don't be that cheap, cheesy salesperson. Share something that could be amazing, right? And remember, you're not alone in this. We're all in this together. We all show up to the events. You're not the only person who feels nervous. You're not the only person who's scared. You're not the only person. And even the most excited person in the world, sometimes deep down, they are freaked out. They just are extroverts and they have a better way of hiding it. So on the surface, like, oh, that person, they're not afraid at all. Trust me, we still get scared. Even myself, who I love it and I cannot wait to show up to an event, I even get that feeling myself because I don't want to be seen as somebody who's shallow. I want to be seen as valuable and make friends. And now I get to walk into rooms and I high five people because I genuinely feel like, dude, I'm making friends and I want to be there, right? You see me show up and I'll give Peter a huge hug, right? I'm a hugger. I'm like, Peter, bring it in. And you get that genuine bear hug. And I got people who are like, what the hell is that? Right? But that's my boy now. He's my friend. And I just love hanging out with people. And who doesn't want to hang out with their friends? All right, look at this. When done the right way, right attitude and intentions, networking can be one of the funnest parts of business. And for some of y'all right now who, you're like, this business development role I'm in, the networking part, I'm freaked out. Again, if you do it right, it could be so, so fun. Here's some quick tidbits for you, some great questions to ask at a networking event, okay? Aside from the general one, because it's our go-to, hey, what do you do? That's awesome, okay? Dig deeper, right? So where are you from? You can tell a lot about somebody and from their environment and where they're from, okay? Especially in Vegas. Not everybody's born in Vegas. And when you find somebody who lives here, that's awesome. Get to know that person as well. And because they've seen this city grow and they can share some really cool stuff about the city and how it's developed, all right? What are you passionate about? Beyond work, beyond the why, what they do, what else moves them? Are they into philanthropy? Or do they, love bike riding and sports? What else gets them out of bed? That's a great one, right? Why do you do what you do? If you could do anything else other than what you're doing, what would that be? Has anybody ever hit somebody with that question? Right? Yeah, that's great. What would you? Right. Now let me ask you this: if you could do something else, what would it be, and why? Imagine the kind of conversations. Again, these are just icebreakers, things that if you're kind of stuck in that place where you're not able to get some stuff out, ask them a question, kind of makes them think. Right? What is something? And we do this with the Henderson Chamber at our monthly speed networking events, right, Blossom, Lauren, the team. What is something unique about yourself that most people don't know? Or I put another way of putting it, number 6, what's a fun fact about you? Okay. That standard, hey, how are things doing? The standard, hey, how are you doing? Or how are things going? Oh, I'm living the dream. All I heard is that's okay. We've been there, right? Go deeper. Okay. And with that said, that's the presentation, you guys. Anybody have any questions for me? I'm going to open it up. This again, I want to be very interactive. So I know we probably have some questions in the chat. Lindsay's going to help me with those here in just a little bit, but I want to again, open this up. Feel free, take yourself off of mute and come at it. What questions you guys have, thoughts, takeaways? I'm open for all of it.
Ricky, what's a fun fact about you?
Ooh, that's a great one. Was that my boy, Frankie?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. Okay. For some of you who don't know, I am an adrenaline junkie. I have skydived, bungee jumped. I'm scuba certified, snowboarded. If it can kill, I swam with sharks. If it can kill me, I will probably try doing it. And I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. And here's one of the things most people don't know. I actually opened up my first business, which was a paintball field at 15 years old. I like Trish is like, what? Yeah, that's why I love. I've had some great businesses and had some great successes. I've had some really poor mistakes. That's why I love helping businesses. So I'm like, don't do the same thing. Let's figure this out together. All right, that's a great one, Frank. What else? Anybody else got some?
Ricky, how can we help you get more people into the peak performance program and learn how to do this at a higher level?
That is awesome. Well, thanks, Dave. I didn't want it to be like self-serving about for what we're looking for, but in short, the people we're looking for is anybody who is not arrogant, egotistical, and doesn't need to be the smartest person in the room. And what I mean by this, I've had some business owners, they're like, they walk on water and they just know everything and clearly they don't need any help. But what we do with peak performance is just, if you're looking for help, how can we help you? And let's have a conversation. So if you know somebody who's, again, kind of like, how do I do X, Y, Z? It's being put in rooms with you, Dave, right? Creating that small group and saying, hey, I want to be in a room with Dave. I want to be with Frank. I want to be with Bruce and Bryce. And leverage that experience so we don't make the same mistakes. And that's kind of the idea. So if you need help in that area, or you want to be part of that community, again, I love the chambers. And that's one of the things that's special about it is they are some of my favorite organizations in the world because they provide an area for networking. Our groups provide a little bit different. It provides the environment for you to come once a month and work on your business, not just in your business. So if that piques your interest, then we'd love to see you at Peak Performance Partners.
Thank you.
Well, we did have a couple of questions come in that I can read off if you'd like to go ahead and answer the ones that came through in the chat.
All right, hit me. Let's
So
get
we
crazy.
had someone ask, if you are socially awkward, what is a good icebreaker to initiate conversation with someone you don't know?
That's a good one. Well, I'd go back to one of the ones that we had earlier is, when you ask somebody what they do, kind of go beyond that. If they didn't do that, what else would they do? Or what are they passionate about? When you hit somebody with that, you get to know beyond business, beyond work, beyond, what they're doing. You get to find out a little bit about them, right? And the other one would be, what's a fun fact about you? So if you're trying to find that icebreaker, hey, hi, well, obviously, what brings you here? What do you do? And what's something fun about you?
Great advice. Love those. Next one is, what is the professional comeback at an event or a mixer when someone complains about another associate that you work with?
With another associate that you work with?
Yes, another associate that you work with.
Wow, that's they're really using that networking event at time just to be open and raw, huh? Like, hey, you know what? Let me tell you about so and so. I would say honestly, the way I'd put it is you don't know what they're going through. You know what I mean? And sometimes people have good days. Sometimes people have bad days. Some people got family stuff. It could, they're pressure from work or whatever. And the thing that they're going through, the person who's doing some of that venting or complaining, right, about our associate or networking event, they might have just received or been the brunt of whatever that person's venting was. And again, it's like, hey, look, what if we try to put ourselves in their shoes for a minute instead of immediately go to judgment and, that person shouldn't have done that. And this is, it's easy for us to sit on it, but we don't know the story. And it goes back to being patient, being kind, and I think being gracious with one another, right? We are trying to make a living. We're trying to figure things out, and we have stuff going on. And especially my business owners out there, I'm talking about. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Nobody knows what it's like to be a business owner, but a business owner, and the things that you're dealing with, and you're trying to work on building culture. So that's what I would say. I would say just, be patient. And then again, if they have an issue beyond that, and it seems to be something that comes up at every networking event where they're just like, let me tell you about this person. Like, well, maybe you should go talk to that person about it.
I think we can all relate to that. Thank you, Ricky. Another one, what is a good way to confront people who give bad reviews without ever doing business with them?
Well, that sucks. Sometimes what goes around comes around. So if they're that kind of person, I forewarn you, because you might get a bad review. I say kill them with kindness, right? Like it's so easy to go to the negative, right? So easy to want to backlash and say, oh, well, that's, and they've never done business with you. You have to ask yourself a couple things. Number one, what did I do, right? Like own it. As what we talk about our owners a lot. What's that accountability piece? What did you do that frustrated or upset this person, especially if they didn't do business with you, that's going to leave that bad review because they went out of their way to do this, meaning somehow you snubbed them in some way, something. Did you do something wrong, right? First ask yourself. Now, if you didn't, and you really genuinely, authentically ran through it, I say kill them with kindness. And I've always said this when I was a young kid, the best forms of revenge is massive success. So be the person who over delivers, gives great service, and put that bad review to the bottom and go out and just continue to do great work for people, bring value, and get a ton of great reviews.
Such great advice. Awesome. I see another one. When you enter the event and everyone is already in a group talking, how do you join the group and what do you say? It's a great question. And I see some responses. Love that question. Hope you answer that one. So let's give that one a good answer.
I think that is what makes networking probably the scariest part. Would y'all agree? Like when you show up and it's easy if there's that one person who's like that one off and you're like, oh, we make eye contact and you're kind of like, hi. But when you got like 3 or 4 people and they're together and you're like, oh, they're already talking now. And they kind of circled up and you're like, oh my God, how do I don't want to be that creepy person like, hello. The way you do it, I think, is a couple ways. Number one, be patient, right? You don't want to come in and be rude and interrupt, but you want to meet these people, and they sometimes don't realize that they're kind of created this circle because they're just in conversation. Okay, so I would say be patient and kind of look for the eye contact, right? In communication, one of the things we share with people is there's more said. 7% of what people hear in communications are words. 38% are body language, and 55% is tone. Okay, sorry, 38% is tone, 55% is body language. So if you're kind of timid off to in the corner and you're kind of shy and you're kind of standoffish, nobody's going to want to talk to that person, right? Except for somebody like myself, who I'm like, hey, come here, let me bring you in, right? And with that, kind of take this a step further, y'all. Be that person. Be those people. It will make every event, and it'll help bring in the community that we're trying to create, where when somebody is that outlier, somebody is kind of standing off the side, they don't feel awkward, right? Bring them in, talk to them, be that friend and reach and give them that lifeline, okay? But if you are going to break in, walk, stand, have a little bit of that confidence, wait for that eye contact, right? And just kind of come into the group. The other one is be a little bold, right? Don't jump in and interrupt the conversation, but kind of slide and kind of get close to that group and just listen and smile. And 9 times out of 10, believe it or not, that circle just kind of opens up a little bit, because people in space and body language, they'll kind of be like, oh, hi. And just simply say hi and just keep listening. Your time to talk will come.
Love that answer. Simply say hi. That sounds great. I think that's all I see. Does anyone else have any other questions? Feel free to come off mute and shout them out as well. You have other questions? Okay, well, we're right on time. It's 9:59. So I think that I can speak for everyone in saying that this was so much fun and so informative. So thank you so much, Ricky. We appreciate you, and we were happy to have you this morning.
Well, we love it. You guys, if there's anything we can ever do for anybody, let us know. I will see you all at the next networking event. All right, the breakfast is on the 24th. All right, sign up and I will see you there. Get ready to high five me, okay? I am that. Woo! God bless you all. Have a great day. Appreciate you. Enjoy.
Great job,
Thanks,
Ricky.
everyone. Have a great day.
Hey, Beth.
Great job.